We're checking out the new Blazing Dominion set. The broadcast about to begin.
So tell me about these new cards for the Master of Faster. There sure are. So we'll start off with the Crimson King. Not the structure deck, mind you, but rather the Synchro monster that shares a name with the
The
structure deck.
Crimson
And this is the
King.
monster that you'll see on every Blazing Dominion pack. And it's a level 8 Dark Synchro, as many of the cards in this theme are. Make it with a tuner and a non-tuner dark monster. And there is a very good non-tuner dark monster in this set that you're going to want to get your hands on, but we'll leave that for you to find out about a little later. So the Crimson King, when it's synchro summon, you can add any card that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. Then, when your opponent activates a monster effect, as a quick effect, you can banish the Crimson King to bring out the original Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck.
Dang.
When you do, it's treated as a synchro summon, so you can bring that monster back later on with
That's
any
crazy.
of the revival effects that the theme has. But it's going to survive a little bit because that monster is going to have its attack points doubled, and your opponent won't be able to destroy it with card effects. It's kind of like, the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, for instance, that you tribute off to bring out something else. But in this case, it's Red Dragon Archfiend.
That's broken.
Much cooler. I guess it depends who you ask. Depends on who you ask. But what might you want to use that Red Dragon Archfiend for? Well, there is a new level 12 synchro monster that is absolutely enormous, and it's called Red Hypernova Dragon. So you're going to need specifically a non-tuner synchro monster plus 4 tuners to make it. 4 tuners. So if you start with your Red Dragon Archfiend, that's level 8. You'll basically need 4 level 1 monsters. And that's not too hard. It sounds like it's really difficult, but in the Red Dragon Archfiend deck specifically, it's not, because you're playing all these resonators. There's a lot of level 1 tuners with summoning power. You have Chain Resonator and Synchron Resonator and all that. And they also have ways to set their levels to 1 as well. So this is not as difficult to bring out as it might seem if you just look at the Synchro monster itself. Now, obviously, it must be first Synchro summoned properly. You're not going to cheat this guy into play. But it gains 500 attack for each tuner in your graveyard. Now, if you do the math on that,
he said you're not going to cheat this guy into play.
You add 500 for the 4 tuners that you have. You're looking at 6,500 just for starters.
It's a lot of damage.
A lot of damage. It can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. It can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And then, once per turn's quick effect, you can banish it and banish as many cards as you can from your opponent's field and graveyard, and then replace this with Red Nova Dragon.
Dang, that's crazy.
And that also is treated
a field wide plus you get to tag in another card.
Huge and self-replacing, then we have got the cards for you here in Blazing Dominion.
That deck's gonna be broken going first.
I skipped out on it a little bit. We'll let you find out what the non-tuner dark monster that you're going to want is when you take a look at the set list a little later, but it's a great one.
Definitely. Don't want to miss that.
Now, moving on, you may have heard of Medius the Pure.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with Medius. He's been around the block for a while now.
It's been around 3 sets now.
Bring back Splash Mage. Oh, yeah.
You can summon this monster itself. You got to send a Fusion of Synchro Xyz back into your extra deck, bring it out, and then it banishes everything in the graveyards. But how are we getting these Fusion Synchro and Xyz? Well, let's take a look at the new Power Patrons. So there's 3 of these. There's 1 each for Archmage, Dooms, Power Patrons, or Archmages, and then you destroy it. But what we really want to take a look at here is the monster effect.
Dang, Archmage about to be OP.
Banish the top 3 cards of your deck face down, and then destroy Nervado. And if you do, you just get to put Nerva the Power Patron onto the field, the Fusion monster. Just
crazy.
Put a free. You're noticing the theme here. You have to put the Fusion, the Xyz, the Synchro back in the deck to get Vidolum back out of your extra deck and make it huge. And then these monsters get you those cards that you need where you need them. But they're also, you get a Power Patron or Elf Note card from your face-up extra deck or graveyard
Elf Note one
to your hand, except for Junaldo.
That right?
More, so it could still be one that is in your hand or face-up on the field. And that could be either a spell or a monster, since it's Pendulum Monster card. Everything you need.
So basically,
starting to fill monsters on your field at the same time.
This card's gonna be broken. I heard this one's meta shifting right here.
Yeah, but activates its effect, you can reveal it in up to 5 synchro monsters, then special summon this card. Then you can send one revealed synchro monster to the graveyard and destroy one monster your opponent controls. Now, not only are you going to be able to take out a
Dang,
monster
that's
when
so
your opponent
good
activates
with
a
Cool
monster
Tune.
effect, you're going to get that monster on the field, Hydraulis Harmonia. You're also going to be able to use the effect of the synchro monster you send. And there's plenty of synchro monsters that have some great graveyard effects that can work as interruptions. There's Maolong, Ignis or Packbit is a big one, being able to just push the monster back in the spell and trap zone. So essentially, with one card, you're going to be able to disrupt your opponent twice while starting to fill monsters on your field at the same time. High impact. But unfortunately, you will only be able to special summon synchro monsters, I believe, until the end of your next turn. Yep, you can't special summon except synchro
end
monsters.
Of your next turn.
Yeah, next turn. So if you're doing it on your opponent's first turn, that means on your turn you're going to be only being able to use synchro monsters. If only there were some like good synchro strategies that were really popular right now. That might be also getting some new cards in this set.
Elf Note.
Oh, there you go. Elf Note. That was the one I was thinking of. No, but really, Elf Note is really strong. As we've been seeing players trying that out, they will be getting new cards, but Cool Tune is the deck a lot of players are looking for. I know you Master Duel players have already been taking on some of those new Cool Tune cards.
Red Dragon Archfiend.
Red Dragon Archfiend. Yeah, there's plenty of synchro strategies that you can use this in. Hydraulis Harmonia is going to be a card you're going to want to watch out for. If you're not using it, you're going to want to be aware of it while you're playing so it doesn't catch you off guard. But yeah, you're going to want to get this card and obviously the artwork. He's got the whole world in his hands. Phenomenal card, phenomenal art. That's the best part about Yu-Gi-Oh! When those two things line up. Great effects, great card. Then let's move on to the next one. We have Charmer Quartet in Bloom. If you like Spirit Charmers, they're all here. You see Hita, Aria,
Link 4,
the whole gang. It's
Asa.
Asa, Win. They're all in the same artwork. So when I saw this card, just seeing them all together, absolutely fantastic. A Link 4 Charmer that takes 2 minimum monsters, 4 Link 4, so you can use like a Link 3 plus 1 monster, 2 Link 2s, all the different ways you can get to. I think the idea with 2 Link 2s, maybe like 2 Charmers.
2 Charmers.
To become into one is a way that you can go for this pretty easily. But it gains 300 attack for each different attribute anywhere on the field. So kind of like that Pressure Planet Raysoth, where the monsters just get big even with your opponent's monsters that they control. But it has a quick effect during the main phase to summon back 2 monsters that are the same type or different attribute, or same attribute and different type. And then this card will be able to be available at the Blazing Dominion Premiere event, and it's going to be on a beautiful game mat. But it's going to be able to get monsters onto your field. You're going to be able to put out a lot of damage or summon some monsters easily from the graveyard that might facilitate your strategy a bit better if you maybe get something like Archer or Christia, other sorts of cards like that you can summon from the graveyard. Really cool card, beautiful artwork. Looking forward to the Charmer Quartet in Bloom.
So same type, different attribute as 2 of the Charmers.
That looks like a good card right there.
Same attribute, different type as a Charmer, and they're familiar.
Oh, okay. That's really like cool Easter egg with why that kind of works that way, lore-based wise.
And he said this is the one that you can get as the Premiere card if you're lucky enough to win it at your local Premiere event.
And that's how you get the secret rare version, yeah. It'll be an ultra in the main set. All right, next up, this is kind of a personal favorite of mine that I really like. It's a Rahamu Envoy of the Sacred Tome. It takes 2 effect monsters, so it's kind of a generic Link 2. It can either be like an inboard piece or kind of facilitate your strategy. You can normal summon a level 5 or higher monster without tributing and use it as a quick effect during the opponent's turn, but in that case, it has to be a dark monster.
Like Jinzo.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of a different level 5 dark monster that you're going to want to tribute.
Firewall Phantom.
Vanity's Fiend. That's the one that comes to my mind. I know it's a lot of players' favorite cards. Mine as well, but...
Ethics, though, so I think of Jinzo.
Ethics, yeah. We like to be unethical when we're duelists, though. We're trying to Vanity's Fiend win the game clean.
Wait, that card might be insane.
To me, that's like the bonus effect of this card. What I really like about this one is during the end phase, you can reveal any number of monsters in your hand, place them on the bottom in any order, and then draw cards equal to the number placed. So that means... a lot of strategies, like let's say Mitsurugi, for example, Vanquish Soul. I mean, Vanquish Soul, you're going to want to keep the attributes, but with like Mitsurugi, sometimes you end up with just like a bunch of extra monsters in your hand that aren't really doing much. You get all those searches, and then at your end phase, you've already done all your combo, you've thinned your deck down a significant amount. You can take all those monsters you no longer need, put them on the bottom, and try and dig for those monster interactions that you're going to be able to use from your hand on your opponent's turn. Kind of niche.
OP.
But I do think there might be a realm where some decks might want to see this play at the end phase, because a lot of times you have those extra materials. You go into like an IP Mask Arena, but if you're playing a deck that can just summon a ton of monsters and you need something to do with those monsters at the end, I would take a look at
That's a good card,
Envoy of the Sacred Tome.
I always like replacing my hand, especially if my opponent knows a bunch of stuff out of it. Just get a different one.
Exactly. Yeah,
Just get a
change it up and
different
see
one,
what
he
you can
said.
do. Next up, we have super duper polymerization.
Super
I know a
duper
lot of you are familiar
polymerization?
with super polymerization. With this one, it's super duper.
Make sure you
What?
read this one closely because the text is kind of tricky.
It is. It is a weird one, but a cool one. It's another one of those polymerization cards that's helping you get monsters that require sometimes extra deck monsters or like super polymerization using your opponent's monsters. So neither player can respond like super polymerization, but you can target one effect monster on either field. So it could be your own monster or your opponent's, and then summon a monster with the same type and attribute, but a different level from your extra decks, and that monster's effects will be negated. So even though you can't use your opponent's monsters, it would probably be more like in a mirror match because it has to be something close on your own monsters as well, so you can make sure it's always live. Either fusion summon, using both the targeted monster you summoned, or you just send the monster that you special summon from the extra deck straight to the graveyard, I believe. Yeah. So basically, you can either fusion summon, or you're going to summon a monster from your extra deck and just send it to the grave, so you can get like whatever effect you're trying to use from that card.
So at worst, it's extra foolish burial.
Exactly, without like that huge cost of life points attached to it.
Only 2,000.
Any account of life feels like it's so much to me, but it's such a cool card. Probably the second card that I'm the most excited about in this set. And I mean, the word Dominus carries some weight in the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game now, and we have a brand new Dominus card. It's Dominus Spark. Absolutely love the artwork on this one. Your opponent just has to use a monster effect in their hand or graveyard, and you can use Dominus Spark from your hand. You will be locked into light, and dark, and divine. Those are the only attributes you can use if you are using divine. Anything else is out the window. But
Attributing 2 for Obelisk right after.
But luckily, there's a lot of good light and dark decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! But you target and banish one monster, but if you have no traps in your graveyard, your opponent can special summon a monster from their hand. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Being able to banish a monster on your opponent's turn before you had to like set up, that's some of the strongest interaction you can have from the hand. So between this, Phydralis Harmonia, we're getting a lot of really good going second defensive tools that Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs. So really excited that we're going to be able to incorporate these cards into our decks and see how they're going to play out on the highest level at our YCSs, NEWCQ, and regional level.
Hydraulis, of course, is dark, so you could use them together if you wanted to.
Great! I'm sure you're really excited to get both these cards in any deck that can capitalize on Dominus Spark and Phydralis. Might be a really big meta contender going into this competitive season because the NAWCQ is just around the corner. And next up, we have another really good trap card, believe it or not. Solemn Accusation. I love the name reveal for this one. This is what I was waiting to see what it was going to be called, but yeah, the Solemn is deep in thought and being told some information that he must know. Doesn't look like he's too happy to be receiving the whatever is being whispered into his ears there, but Solemn Accusation. If you have another trap to reveal, you can activate this new Solemn the turn it was set. And if you pay 1,500 life points, neither player can use the spell or trap that you're trying to negate for the rest of the turn. But if you pay 3,000, it banishes all copies of that card from the opponent's deck. So if there's certain decks that require a specific spell to really be useful, like maybe
Sky Striker.
Yeah, Sky Striker Mobilize Engage is a really good one to go after. I mean, even if there's just Rahu Draco Tails gone, you won't be able to recycle it by putting it back with the trap cards.
Heavy Polymerization.
Heavy Polymerization's another really good one. It's a really cool card. Reminds me of like Curse Seal, the Forbidden Spell, but not having to pay. I'd much rather pay life points than discard a spell from my hand. And it's a little more useful being able to have the tools to use it going second, which is something trap cards really useful if they're able to play both times and not just have to wait until your fourth turn or third turn to be able to activate the card. But yeah, Solemn Accusation is going to be another one you're going to want to look out for. It can go in any side deck, and with Solemn Judgment being limited to one now, you definitely want to keep your eyes on this one.
All right, well, that's a lot of really powerful cards.
You can activate this
really early on here in the show.
There's so much in Blazing Dominion.
It's a whole lot. So why don't we give you a chance to digest all of this, especially all of that text. There's a lot of tricky text, a lot of powerful text on it. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll send in the clowns. See you then.
Clown crew.
So if you want to as more so than putting out boss monsters, you're just summoning those extra monsters with spells and then using them as tribute materials for tribute summons to bring out your big monsters. So you get ready to send all your opponent's extra deck monsters back to the extra deck, and along the way, you're going to draw a ton of cards. Who doesn't love drawing cards? Now, we're going to first start off with the main monster, Clown Crew Bianca Viso. When I first saw this card, I fell in love with it instantly. Amazing artwork, and it has a pretty cool effect. You can tribute one monster if you tribute a Ritual Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, or Link monster, or you can just do the regular 2 tributes. Why would you want to do 2 when you could do 1? Well, let's take a look at its effect. Its first option for the effect when you tribute summon it, you can draw cards equal to the number of monsters you tributed. So if you want to trigger 2 monsters effects that you're tributing while drawing a couple cards, you're going to want to tribute 2. Or you can negate the effects of face-up cards that your opponent controls equal to the number of cards tributed. So that means you can summon this on your opponent's turn and negate some card effects. How are you going to summon it on your opponent's turn? Well, it has a quick effect to tribute summon 1 monster during your opponent's main phase. So Clown Crew Bianca Viso can summon himself, a different one from your hand during your opponent's turn, or some other cool tribute summon monsters like...
That's cracked, guys.
This is usually kind of what happens in the office. We got Jinzo and Vandy's Fiend. I'm here for pure evil. But no, it's a really cool theme and lots of cool tools. So let's go ahead and keep looking on to the monsters that you're going to be using to utilize this Bianca Viso. Bianca Viso. I know I said it backwards there. Okay, so first up we have all these. Let's just go and talk about the Clown Crew monsters as a whole. They all have different effects. 2 different effects when they're tributed, and usually have an on-field effect that's going to boost up your tribute summon monsters. One will shuffle back all the monsters of the same card type. So if the Ritual, when it's tributed, it'll shuffle back all the Ritual monsters. Xyz monster, when it's tributed, it'll shuffle back all the Xyz monsters. And it's not just on the field, it's in both players' graveyards as well. But we'll keep looking onto it, each card specifically. First up, Clown Crew Flair will be shuffling back Ritual monsters, or it flips an effect monster face down when it's tributed. So the cool thing is if maybe your opponent's not playing Rituals, you still have an actual effect you can use when it's tributed. But it has the main part of the Flair's effect is that you can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Clown Crew card from your deck to your hand, except a Ritual monster, and then discard 1 card. So this is going to be able to access any Clown Crew cards you need.
It's kind of like Illusion of Chaos. That's probably the best comp to it, except in this case you get to discard instead of return to deck.
Yeah, it's definitely strong. Definitely facilitates where you need to go, and you'll be able to Ritual summon it out pretty easily as well. And next up, we have Clown Crew Diabolo. This is going to be the fusion monster. Wow. It also has kind of some bonus stuff that's kind of neat that doesn't come up too often. The materials are 2 monsters with the same attribute, but different types. So that means you can use it for super polymerization in this deck as well, and you don't have to add Muddy Mud Dragon or Mud Dragon of the Swamp into your extra deck. So it's kind of cool. There's a new super polymerization target. Its on-field effect gives tribute summon monsters double piercing, and when you tribute it, can return all the fusion monsters, or it can set 1 Clown Crew trap from your deck.
That's crazy. New super poly target.
The next one, there's a lot of these. Oh,
Ritual Fusion. Now we got Synchro.
Synchro's up next. It is going to be Clown Crew Meteor. I always just really appreciate the art of all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but some of them speak like to my soul. This one speaks to my soul. I would cosplay as this guy for sure. Clown Crew Meteor is an awesome card with the Synchro effect on the field. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when you tribute summon a monster. So if you don't want your Bianca Viso being Ash Blossomed, when you tribute Meteor, they won't be able to respond. You're going to get to draw your 2 cards, and you're going to be able to use those graveyard effects to return all the Synchro monsters back. Or you can target 1 Clown Crew card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So Meteor is going to be able to deal Synchro monsters or recur the cards you need for your own strategy. And then next, we have Clown Crew Fiends. This is going to be the Xyz monster.
Type. That's crazy.
Its on-field effect gives tribute summon monsters you control 1,000 attack points. And if it's tributed, the Xyz monsters go back. Or this one will set a Clown Crew Speller Trap. So you get to get access to all your resources depending on which extra deck monsters you are tributing. So you can kind of make sure you sculpt your plays perfectly. You can see the lines. You can find the ways to get where you're going. It's a tribute summon strategy that not only counters what your opponent's doing, but you can also advance your strategy when there's nothing else to
they have a link one too.
Opponent. So very defensive and offensive at the same time. The next one, there's a lot of these, so we're going to go through each of them.
Taken all together, while you're getting to the spells, The basic goal of the deck is actually to pump up Bianca Viso, make a really huge Bianca Viso, flip their guy face down, give your monster double piercing damage. It's kind of like hitting them with the old Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon in a way.
That's kind of cool. Yeah,
So it's a going second deck?
Very scary, fearsome creature that's just going to punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, you can draw a ton of cards while you're at it.
That's my favorite
super
part.
rejuvenation type effect.
Yeah, you had me at draw a card. All right, so let's take a look at the first spell card that you'll be setting, and that's going to be Clown Crew Rehearsal. This card, you contribute a monster from your hand or field and since you're tributing a card, you can trigger the effects of the monsters you're tributing. And it can add Bianca Viso and one Clown Crew Speller Trap. So you get 2 cards that will help you potentially break your opponent's field when you're going second. And then you can banish this card from your graveyard to ritual summon Clown Crew Flare. So when I said it was going to be easy to ritual summon, you don't have to invest the whole card into it. It's just the back half of a spell card that's already advancing your strategy.
It's not just your searcher, it's your double searcher and your ritual card all at once. It's a real good card.
Really, really cool. And then next up, we have the continuous spell, Clown Crew Matinee Operatics. It's a continuous spell. You can spell summon 1 Clown Crew monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. So not only can you get the monsters you need as a tribute material, you can just get Bianca Viso. And then, let's see. So it's going to ignore the summoning condition. You will be locked out of activating the effect of monster specials from the extra deck. But during the end phase, we talked about drawing cards. You can draw cards equal to the number of different card types tributed this turn. So very similar to True Draco Heritage, I think it's one of those. The old, I think it's Heritage. For each one you tributed, you're going to be able to draw a card. So you can obviously Xyz, Fusion, Synchro. If you do them all, it kind of adds up. You'll draw a lot of cards during the end phase.
And if you kept taking notice of the on-field effects of those fusion, ritual, etc. monsters, they're all continuous effects. So they'll still apply even though you're locked out of activating effects due to this card.
That's very key to pay attention to. And it also works on your opponent's end phase. So I'm going to be drawing cards on my turn and your turn as well.
Wow.
All right. And then the next spell we have is Clown Crew Malabarisme. It's a quick play. It has the same lock as before, but as Jerome mentioned, it doesn't slow down your strategy at all. And it is the lifeblood of the deck. This quick play spell is the main way to get your tribute monsters on the field that you're going to be needing to summon your big tribute monsters. Special summons up to 2 Clown Crew monsters from the deck or extra deck, ignoring the summoning conditions. And you can banish this card and tribute 1 monster to return any card on the field to the hand. So you're going to be able to use this to get monsters on the field and tribute monster, trigger the effect, return a card on the field. So many layers to this card. Absolutely fantastic.
It's a very scary deck, actually, once it gets going. It can be very hard to leave anything or keep anything on the field when they can just tribute off something to take anything and then incidentally get all of your other cards of a type. So if you're an all synchro deck or an all Xyz deck, it's a lot easier to fall prey to the clowns.
Definitely, yeah. You got to watch out for the clowns. They're up to no good. And now we're going to take a look at the trap card, Clown Crew Soiree Operations. This is 73. It has the same lock as the spell cards. And you can use each effect once per turn. Like the quick play, it can summon 2 Clown Crew monsters from your deck and or extra deck. And it adds 1 Clown Crew monster from your deck to your hand. And during the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to tribute summon. So you can see more of the same kind of effects when you're layering up those effects. It's all about consistency. And that's the way these kind of tribute summon decks, making sure you do what you're good at every single time. And this card will make sure that is possible. All right, and then we have another trap.
One more trap.
There's a lot of Clown Crew cards because it's like a toolboxy kind of deck. You have something for each situation.
Yeah, and it's easier to make this deck, I think, just from mostly Blazing Dominion packs because there's so many cards for the theme in it. Though a lot of them are extra deck cards. So keep that in mind.
Definitely. So Clown Crew New Face, this continuous trap.
Dude, there's
replenishes
so
resources
many
by shuffling back 3 Clown Crew cards and letting you draw a card during the standby phase. Kind of similar to Radiant Typhoon Mandate. It wipes out spells and traps equal to the number of monsters you tribute for tribute summoning. And this card is sent to the graveyard. You can just place it right back face up. Also kind of similar to Mandate. But no, so being able to draw cards, replenish your resources, you're going to be able to put those extra deck monsters back in your deck. You're going to be able to continue drawing cards like this deck loves to do. But the big thing is just every time you tribute summon, this is another effect that's going to trigger, that's going to be able to wipe out more. Not only you're going to be able to take out whatever extra deck type that you're worried about, you're going to take out the spells and traps along the way. You're going to draw some cards with Bianca Viso. You're going to draw some cards at your end phase. You're going to be able to tribute on your opponent's turn. Just absolutely fantastic. So there's a lot of space to explore with the Clown Crew deck. Now, obviously, they're missing a Pendulum or a Link monster, but you know,
There's more sets coming.
there's Yu-Gi-Oh's always growing.
There's more sets coming. They
So all the
said.
Clown Crew fans out there, just, sit tight
They just
for as
need the
long as you
Pendulum
can.
and
This
Link.
deck will only get better. Now, we are done with the Clown Crew, but I want to talk about someone who kind of is hanging around. He wants to be a part of the crew, but he hasn't really been invited to the table yet.
He's got a lot of money, though.
Yeah, he's got a lot of money, and money talks. So this is going to be the VIP Whale. He is an honorary member of the crew. And if you're looking for someone to tribute summon, look no further. This high roller lets you tribute as many monsters as you want to summon this card. So if you just want to trigger a bunch of effects, this is the guy for you, or draw a ton of cards. Look for VIP Well. It enables all your Clown Crew effects, and it gets a VIP counter for each tribute
It's like
used.
a gambling card. That's
Anytime
sick.
your opponent activates a card or effect, you can remove a VIP counter, flip a coin, because,
He's got plenty of coins. Just keep flipping.
coins, high risk, high reward, and you call it. If you call it right, you negate it. If you call it wrong, the whale's attack points are halved, but tails never fails. Except 50% of the
Except 50%
time, it might. But it's definitely a cool card, and you're going to want to check out the VIP Whale. He really wants you to. He wants to be a part of the team, man.
He wants to be part of the
Don't-
team.
Don't overlook the VIP Whale.
Always looking for good monsters to tribute summon, so it's nice to have one now. And the VIP Whale is a World Premiere card.
It is, very
as
cool.
well. And we've got more World Premiere cards to come. We've already taken a look at a couple, but those are just cards that were made for the themes in the set. So like the Shade was there for the Power Patron theme. This is for the Clown Crew theme. But now we're going to talk about the second half of GMX, the World Premiere theme that we began back in Burst Protocol. And if you recall how it works, it's a theme where you do science, and it either explodes in your face or you turn yourself into a dinosaur. One of these is really cool. The other, not so much. But we're going to make it even more worth your while to take that risk in this set. And we're also going to let you do a bunch of things that a lot of players have been asking for over the last few months. And the first one, of course, our first card is going to go out to everybody who wants to team up with their dinosaur buddy to fight evil. And that's GMX partner Celandia. So this is a level 5 warrior, so it's just within the range.
Guys, there's some
that
broken
you can get
cards
with
coming
the
to
Inferno
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Alarms, if you like. Level
gotta
5
pause this real
Fire
quick.
5 Fire Warrior, and you can reveal it in your hand to special summon a GMX monster or a dinosaur monster from your hand. And then you're locked into only attacking directly with GMX monsters for the rest of the turn. But if you're using this for your turn 1 setup, for instance, that has literally trigger its set is turned into a dinosaur. The key part of this one is it helps you expand the reach of your extra deck. Because it can turn itself into a dinosaur and it's a level 4 that you can special summon easily, that's half of an Evil Czar, essentially. So it's a lot easier to weave those in your hand and put Velox on the field. And then Velox can take care of whatever they
As a dinosaur
throughout there.
deck,
And then on your
dinosaurs getting new support.
You use your experiment.
GMX Comprex. 2 dinosaurs. Gain these effects based on the number of monsters used as a fusion material for this card. 3+, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. 4+, this card can make up to 3 attacks during the battle phase with 3,700 attack each time you're 5+. So if you use 5, it gains all these effects, guys. Each time your opponent normal or special summons monster, they lose 800 life points. Once per turn, if you activate cards by GMX card effect, you can destroy all monsters on the field. So this would be good with
But even if you don't do all that, once per turn, if you
Dinomorphia?
excavate something with the GMX card effect, you can destroy all their monsters on the field. So obviously the GMX experiment from before, the 55th experiment report, is a GMX effect. So you can just use it. This is a continuous trap. You can only activate it if you control a GMX monster. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, except during the damage step, you can excavate your top 5 cards. If you find a GMX card among them, you negate the activated effect, and then put all of the cards on the top or bottom of the deck in any order. So not only do you get to negate one of your opponent's monster effects, you also essentially get to stack the deck if you find anything you do
basically
like,
get to cheat.
or just send it all to the bottom if there's nothing there that you want to draw coming up. And then to get this card out of the deck, you have a field spell, GMX Lab number 5. So while you have the GMX Lab in play, your opponent can't use card effect or can't activate cards or effects when you normal or special summon a GMX monster. Then during your main phase, you can set a GMX spell or trap from your deck, accept another copy of this, and
Dang, that
place a
card's
card
gonna
from
be
your hand
insane.
on top of the deck. It's very useful for this deck in particular because you want to generally minimize how much damage you're going to take off of the experiment. But you can just put whatever you want to fuse with on top of your deck if you've already drawn it in your hand. And you can only use that once per turn. So a lot of good stuff coming up for GMX. I think that once you have all of the cards in your possession, you can do a lot of cool stuff with it.
Yeah, it's definitely a really cool theme, and I really like this. The cards they're getting in Blazing Dominion, so much to explore, lots of different ways to get these. It's so unique being able
OCG
to
got
put
this
the
in
cards on top of
January,
your deck
huh?
and use the materials you excavate as for fusion summoning. It's just something so unique, which is what I like about a lot of the World Premiere themes, because you get to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but in a different way, and then they're still powerful with really cool effects like the GMX cards.
And this was a tough one too, because it has to integrate within kind of the existing all the good dinosaurs kind of deck that people have traditionally played, and I think it actually does a pretty good job of that.
Oh yeah, and
considered.
Yeah, especially with being able to put miscellaneous source back, with it being limited, all sorts of cool crossover for sure.
And there's even more in Blazing Dominion that we just haven't had time to get to. Like the train cards are amazing. The Cool Tune cards you're going to see a lot of over the summer. It's just a set full of great stuff. And when does it come out?
I believe it comes out. Let me flip to. It is coming out May 1st is going to be the premiere event. So if you want to get Blazing Dominion, you're going to want to make sure you go to use your Neuron app, go to Yu-Gi-Oh! Card.com, whatever you have to do to find a local official tournament store in OTS. And May 1st, May 3rd will be the premiere event.
Now before that, the Thursday before the premiere events begin, we're going to post the Genesis Points update for Blazing Dominion. This is going to be where we put in.
That's pretty much it, guys. So make sure you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe. Some really good cards coming in this set. Dominus Spark, Super Duper Polymerization, Phytolorus Harmonia. You get these Power Patron cards. Just a bunch of stuff. New Crimson stuff. Anyways, hope you guys enjoy the video. New clown stuff. Make sure you guys leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.
You're
Peace
going to want
out.
to get your hands on the cards in this.